The time is 6:15. Here is the news edited by Durmin Samarasinghe, read by Victor Raj. First, take a look at the headlines of the local news. More than 130,000 people affected by the inclement weather. The UK expresses support for several projects in Sri Lanka. Using organic fertilizer for agriculture draws international attention. Sri Lanka Navy facilitates investigations into the fire-hit MV Express Pearl ship. A program launched to send medicine by post for patients who attend clinics at government hospitals. Foreign news, White House defends Dr. Fauci over lab leak emails about COVID. Sports news, US Women's Open Melrade shares opening round led with teenage mega gain. Local news in detail. The Disaster Management Centre says that more than 130,000 people have been affected by the inclement weather. More people have been affected in Ratnapura, Colombo, Kaluthara, Kagalla and Mathura districts. More than 5,000 people have been sheltered at 27 welfare centres. A meeting between President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and British High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, Sarah Halton, took place this morning at the Presidential Secretariat. The High Commissioner commended the government's corona prevention program. She expressed her views about the support that can be given to the vaccination program. She has paid her attention on the contribution of the British government that could be made for the efforts of the President to build a trade economy. The UK has agreed to exchange technical knowledge on the program implemented by the government to get 80% of energy through renewable power sources by 2030. The UK has also agreed to assist in storing and transmission of solar power. She expressed support for the government's plans to increase the forest cover to 30%. The President requested to provide technical support to study the damage caused to the environment by the burnt ship. The President also explained about the Geneva proposals. The steps taken by the government to several issues, including solving of land problems, were explained. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has instructed officials to provide relief immediately to all the people affected by inclement weather. Relief measures should be implemented through district secretariats. The Prime Minister has instructed the Secretary to the Finance Ministry to allocate necessary funds to provide relief. Using only organic fertilizer for agriculture has drawn international attention. Therefore, Minister Mahidananda Alutkamake said that the President has been invited for a speech at program of World Food Programme in Rome organized by the UN. He said that government is prepared to provide organic fertilizer to everyone engaged in paddy, vegetable and other crops in the Yala season. Environmental Justice Centre has filed a fundamental rights petition in the Supreme Court requesting to issue an order to authorities to conduct an investigation to find the way Express Pearl ship entered into Sri Lanka's sea. The petition has pointed out that the incident has caused the huge environmental damage. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Receive early cash advances and an unmatchable bonus at maturity from Sri Lanka Insurance Early Cash.
Continuing with more local news, Sri Lanka Navy today facilitated a team of government officials who is conducting investigations into the fire-hit MV Express Pearl by transferring them on board Sri Lanka Coast Guard ship Samudra Rakshaka to the sea area where the particular submerged vessel is located. In response to a request made by the Criminal Investigation Department to obtain seawater samples, conduct on-site monitoring and investigate the impact on marine environment due to the ship's fire, the Navy was involved in the facilitation. The program has been launched to send medicine by post for patients who attend clinics at government hospitals. Director of the Health Promotion Bureau, Dr. Ranjit Batuwantuduwa said that medicines sufficient for 1 month will be given to each patient. He requested the patients who have not given their address to the clinics to call the relevant clinic and provide them with their addresses. Further information can be obtained by calling on the telephone numbers 072 072 0720 or 072 060 6060. The COVID-19 pandemic has triggered a crucial island-wide need for a separate maternal care unit for mothers who have contracted the virus and isolated units for pregnant mothers and newborns suspected of having contracted the virus. Responding to these needs, the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, Sri Lanka, with funding from the Government of Canada, contributed some essential medical infrastructure and equipment to the Ministry of Health. UNFPA country representative Ritsu Nekran, together with the High Commissioner of Canada to Sri Lanka, David McKinnon, handed over the medical equipment to Dr. Chitramari De Silva, Director Maternal and Child Health, in the presence of Dr. Netmini Thenura, Consultant Community Physician, National Program Manager of the Family Health Bureau, to enhance the capacity of hospital care centers to ensure that pregnant mothers are provided with the necessary facilities for safe delivery. The 5,000 rupee allowance is being given to 100,000 families in Kandy district who lost their income due to the spread of COVID-19. Additional Acting District Secretary Ravindra Vikramasinghe said that the allowance has been given to 2,767 families in the Putlam district. Gold District Secretary Santa Veerasinghe said that food distribution programs have been implemented on behalf of the people affected by the rainy weather and travel restrictions. Mobile vehicles have been deployed in the Mathura district to distribute food items to homes. 9 cooperative societies are distributing essential food items to the people in the Polonnaruwa district. During the official visit to Durban, High Commissioner Sirisena Amarasekara and the Trade Officer Sanjeeva Bandara met the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, Palesa Phili, and Head of International Trade, Dumail Kubon. The key focus of the discussion was to enhance the bilateral trade and tourism between the two countries, with special attention to the logistic, boat building and apparel sector business development of Sri Lanka. The High Commissioner invited to the South African importers and exporters who are having a strong trade with the Indian subcontinent and East Asian countries to utilize the Colombo Free Zone for the operations of regional and global distribution. The CEO of the Durban Chamber of Commerce suggested seeking opportunities of the capitalization on essential excess or shortage of the supply of vegetables and fruits of both countries. The High Commissioner agreed in principle to arrange a meeting with the fruits and vegetable importers and exporters of both countries. The Durban Chamber of Commerce is one of the oldest business chambers in the African region, having more than 150 years of history and located in the logistic hub of Southern Africa. Ampara District Additional Government Agent V. Jagadishan said that the low-income families will be given an allowance of 5,000 rupees. The government has allocated 418 million rupees for the allowance. 83,666 families are eligible for the allowance of 5,000 rupees. The payment is made through Samuldi banks on the advice of Ampara District Secretary D.M.L. Bandaranaike. That ends local news.
Finished? You have 1 more hour to write the exam.
Yes, sir. Always early.
Receive early cash advances and an unmatchable bonus at maturity from Sri Lanka Insurance Early Cash.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Distribution of concessionary sack of essential goods of Satosa needed by the people in isolated areas and under quarantine was commenced officially today. It is implemented under the patronage of Trade Minister Bandula Gunawardena, centered around Colombo and Gampa districts. The army, police and Satosa staff are assisting to distribute the sacks. A concessionary sack includes 10 essential items. That ends main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Those outlets in the island will remain open daily. The minister said that this decision was taken due to the gazetting of Satosa as an essential service. He said mobile vendors will be able to buy and sell goods at lower prices through Satosa. That ends Watchlight. Moving on to world news, let's take a look at the headlines. White House defends Dr. Fauci cover lab leak emails about COVID. Portugal queries Amber status as UK tightens COVID rules. Google apologized for ugliest Indian language search result. World news in detail. The White House has defended the president's top coronavirus advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, amid scrutiny of his recently released work emails. Dr. Fauci has been phased of the nation's COVID-19 response, drawing both praise and criticism. And Press Secretary Jen Psaki said Dr. Fauci had been an undeniable asset, but emails have raised questions on whether he backed Chinese denials of the theory that COVID-19 leaked from a lab in Wuhan. Portugal has requested the UK's decision to remove it from the travel green list from Tuesday. The move to the amber list means UK tourists should not visit the country and returnees must isolate for 10 days. Transport Secretary Grant Shapps cited rising cases and the COVID mutation fund in Portugal, saying ministers did not want to take risks before the planned final easing of England's restrictions. India's Karnataka state says it plans to send a legal notice to Google after it showed the state's official language as the ugliest language in India. A Google search with these keywords yesterday showed Kannada as the top result. The tech giant released a statement apologizing for the misunderstanding and hurting any sentiments. It has fixed the search results following a massive outrage. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. White House defends Dr. Fauci's cover lab leak emails about COVID. Portugal queries amber status as UK tightens COVID rules. Google apologizes for ugliest Indian language search result. That ends world news. Moving on to development news. Several programs have been planned to accelerate production of organic fertilizer needed for Maha season. It is expected to import and locally manufacture machines needed for the fertilizer production. The President gave instructions to officials in this regard during a discussion at the Presidential Secretariat on the production of organic fertilizer. Attention was paid on producing fertilizer at local government institutional level. That came to you on local news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The Board of International Finance Corporation has approved the proposed $50 million financing facility for Sri Lanka's Mars Holdings to sustain its operations while preserving its workforce in the country. IFC confirmed that its board has approved a $50 million financing facility for Mars. The loan was proposed late last year for Mars Capital Private Limited, a wholly owned subsidiary of Mars Holdings and the holding company of the group's apparel pillar. That ends Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Moving on to sports news, golf news. England's Mel Reid shot a 67 to share the first round lead on 4 under with 17-year-old American Megan Gain at the US Women's Open. Reid picked up 3 shots around the turn and added further birdies at 15 and 16 at the Olympic Club in the San Francisco before a bogey at the 18th. Gain, who is playing in his second US Open, had held the lead until she also bogeyed the 18th. Football news. Lionel Messi said Argentina's World Cup qualifying draw against Chile was special as it was the first since the death of their legendary former captain Diego Maradona. Maradona died at the age of 60 after suffering a heart attack in November. Messi opened the scoring with a penalty, but Alexis Sanchez equalizer meant Argentina missed the chance to climb above Brazil and go top of the table. Basketball news. Reigning NBA champions, the Los Angeles Lakers, have suffered a shock first-round playoffs defeat at the Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker scored 47 points for the Suns as they sealed a 4-2 series win. LeBron James scored 29 points for the Lakers, who are the first defending champions to lose at this stage since the San Antonio Spurs in 2015. That ends sports news.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001. Is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Securities and Exchange Commission has granted a 1-month extension to listed companies to release financial statements as requested by the Colombo Stock Exchange. The decision was made with the Colombo Stock Exchange having shared with the Securities and Exchange Commission last week the inability of the listed companies to release their annual reports and financial statements as specified under the listing rules due to the restrictions imposed island-wide. That ends economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department shows showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabragama, northwestern, central and northern provinces and in Gol and Matha districts. Fairly heavy falls, above 75 mm, can be expected at some places in the western, Sabragama, northwestern, central and northern provinces and in the Gol district. Showers or thunder showers may occur at several places elsewhere during the evening or night. That ends Weather Report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
To wrap up the evening news broadcast on Radio Sri Lanka, let's take a look at the headlines once again. More than 130,000 people affected by the inclement weather. The UK expresses support for several projects in Sri Lanka. Using organic fertilizer for agriculture draws international attention. Sri Lanka Navy facilitates investigations into the fire-hit MV Express Pearl ship. A program launched to send medicine by post for patients who attend clinics at government hospitals. Foreign news, White House defends Dr. Fauci over lab leak emails about COVID. Sports news, US Women's Open, Mel Reid shares opening round lead with teenager Megan Quinn.